I remember thinking to myself as president when Dan Meltzer clearly was not going to be able to go ahead, which was a matter of such sadness for all of us. And I talked to Dan and I said, I can't imagine who we're going to get. And he said, Ricky Revesz.
And I knew that fortune shone very brightly when he became the director under difficult circumstances. You know, one of the things I say about Ricky is that I feel that he could be in a room alone and do all of the work that the ALI has done by himself, and then have it ratified by a vote of the council and of the annual meeting. His just constant display of sheer brain power cross fields is very impressive and hard to replicate.
Ricky was a delight to work with from the first day. He is just a fascinating history, and he brings his perspectives and his unusual background to the ALI. I would love to have been a student in one of his classes. I think they must be really remarkable experiences. He was a gifted leader of this institute, and his ability to go from project to project to project was really quite remarkable.
Well, you know, I actually have served on the council with 3 different directors. When I was first elected to the council, Jeff Hazard was the director, and then Lance Liebman when I went on the executive committee and became secretary, and then Ricky. And one of the things they all had in common, even though their personalities are totally different, was this ability to understand so many different areas of the law, including areas that were not their particular area, and to synthesize things and to try to facilitate compromise when we have different views among the reporters and members of the council and so forth.
I have been a fan and follower of Ricky since I was a law student, and as a young lawyer, I was interested in environmental law, administrative law, regulatory policy, and Ricky was such a cutting-edge thinker in all of those areas that I couldn't help but be attracted to him. When I got the opportunity to serve on the council of the ALI, I was delighted to be able to get to know and work with Ricky more closely. I have seen firsthand how not just thoughtful and smart and intelligent he is, but just what a balanced view and how fair he is. He is at times very disarming. He will listen carefully and consider all sides before making a decision and doing something that is always in the best interest of the broader community and the public.
He is remarkable. When somebody says something that disagrees with what Ricky says, he doesn't immediately get defensive. He doesn't immediately start promoting his own position. He really listens respectfully to try to understand why the other person thinks they're right. And then he will be open-minded. Sometimes he takes on board and adopts some of what the other person is saying. And often what he does is set up a participatory process by which the different views can be, it can engage with each other to try to reach some kind of a resolution.
He was very interested in maybe pushing the envelope a little bit away from the private law subjects like contracts and torts and property and those kinds of things to things that had more of a public law overtone. And we today see the results of that, whether we're going to be talking about constitutional torts or whether we're going to be talking about copyright, which we've made a huge amount of progress in. And these areas that are mixed statutory law, and I'll just call it judge-made law, not necessarily common law because that's a term of art, but law where it's judicial action that has really refined the standards. And the copyright project is a good example of that. But Ricky really has an openness to thinking about what could be done. And he also was very good about finding ways to come to consensus.
The scope of the work that the ALI does is vast. It's domestic law, it's international law, it's law which is relevant to every court in this country. It is increasingly law which is relevant to what is happening internationally. Ricky, as the director, seemed to have a capacity to understand exactly what was important in a whole wide range of legal subjects. As the director of the ALI, he brought an enthusiasm, a love of the law, an ability to identify who were the leading experts in any particular area of law. I think he did that because he is both a great listener and a great leader.
When I think about Ricky, I think about two words: energy and leadership. What's interesting about the energy word is that not only is he an expert, right, an incredible expert in the field of energy, but he has so much energy just as a characteristic. And I think the Institute has been incredibly benefited from all of the energy that he's dedicated to our work, to doing things in a different way, getting lots of other people energized about it. And we're in a different place because of his leadership.
I think all of us who know Ricky know his laugh and his smile. And, ultimately, most things in life are about energy. And Ricky has such tremendous energy, and it's all positive, very strong, positive energy. Ricky has a strong life force. And I remember after he became director, it was like having a race car driver all of a sudden take control of the ALI.
I would say Ricky Revesz first is a friend. He has a warm personality. He cares about people deeply. He's a wonderful conversationalist. And so it was wonderful to be able to work with him. But I will say Ricky as a leader was extraordinarily effective. He knew how to read a room. He understood where points of conflict existed, but he was able to bring those people who had differing views together.
So I've seen Ricky in managerial roles going back to the law review in law school, but mostly as the dean of NYU and then as the director of the ALI. And what's most characteristic is just the ability to project sheer competence. He always has the data ready. He always has a game plan.
I think we were just amazingly lucky to have Ricky as the director. I mean, he had a vision about how to be an effective leader for the ALI at this time in our existence. And he really focused on getting interesting projects done, staffing them in a way through reporters and advisors that allowed them to be done.
It was such a pleasure for me to work with Ricky on the council since I joined the council in 2016. He was very welcoming to me. He's done such an extraordinary job during the time I was on the council, both identifying and recruiting the very best reporters for all the different projects. He can be very persuasive, and he really got terrific reporters for all the projects.
Ricky has been a fabulous director of ALI, and he walks on the shoulders of some legal giants. And not only did he walk on their shoulders, but in many ways, he equaled or surpassed them. The ALI has been enormously productive under his tenure. Any number of new projects has been instituted, but just as importantly, projects have been completed, and that's has been very important. So I think he can look back on his years as the ALI director as an unmitigated success.
Ricky was a magnificent director of the American Law Institute. His guidance, his judgment, his insight on an amazing range of projects were instrumental in getting those projects done in a great manner, getting them to conclusion, helping people figure out how to approach these matters, and inspiring people to do great work for the American Law Institute as it does great work for the law in the United States.
Ricky has a rare blend of raw intelligence and emotional intelligence, and that allowed him to mediate disputes gently, but always while maintaining and focusing on the final ALI work product as a product of excellence.
The other things that I love about Ricky and that I've loved about him as a director are that he has exhibited constant patience, total fair-mindedness, practical wisdom, all of which are characteristics that I think you need to be a great director and a great human being. The maybe most important thing, which is captured a little bit by those characteristics, but not fully captured, is that he's a kind person. And I've always appreciated that.
There's something about Ricky's personality that people are drawn to him. He always seems to be in a good mood. He always has a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye. And he laughs a lot. And he makes you laugh a lot. And he seemingly doesn't take himself too seriously. And then you realize, here's a guy who was dean of the NYU Law School and one of the leading scholars in environmental law and environmental justice.
I think these 9 years have been consequential for the ALI in many ways. Ricky, because he is so engaging and so delightful to work with, the top people want to work with him. And we had wonderful reporters, we had great projects, and he was just a marvelous manager. But I think more than anything, it was that drive that he had, that energy, that cheerfulness, the ready laugh, made everybody feel welcome to the ALI.